Welcome to another episode of The Bridge, brought to you by Business Day. I'm Arese Ugwu, and today we're going to be talking about financial products that are targeted at women. And in the studio, we have two beautiful ladies who are going to be discussing this with me. Afua Osei, who is the co-founder of She Leads Africa, a platform that helps women become part of the African growth story. And Adebimpe Ihejuna, who is the project owner of First Bank's FirstGem. Stay tuned, guys. Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to be discussing financial products that are targeted at women. This is a topic I find really interesting because I've always been of the opinion that in Africa, there's something culturally ingrained in us that makes men and women think about money differently. We usually look at our financial future as the responsibility of the man. So I feel like this has happened because when men are little boys, they're told that they're going to be the protectors of the family, the providers. So they're most likely to have aspirations like, I want to be a landlord. But women, even when they've become part of the workforce, we think about our money in terms of spending. Even if it's not on frivolous things, it's usually on things like, I want to make my house a home, or I want to, buy extras for my kids, or I can now look after myself. But usually those things do not translate into building assets that can either protect you in the future or act as collateral if you wanted to take a loan for a business. Now, there have been many issues surrounding, making a more inclusive environment for women in the economy. I think that commercial banks have started creating financial products that aim to solve this problem. But the question is, are these products cosmetic, or are they actually having an impact in society? So we'll find out from our guests today. Hi, Afua.
Hello.
So I want you to talk a little bit about, She Leads Africa, and what your thoughts are about financial products that are focused on women.
Yes. Well, She Leads Africa is a media company and a platform focused on smart and ambitious young African women. My partner and I were really into business and investing, and whenever we would go to startup events, we would very rarely see young women on stage. They were typically on the side, or maybe they were assisting, but they weren't the main people talking about their businesses.
And you wanted to do something to change that.
Absolutely. And people would say, well, we can't find any. And we said, well, we'll go and see if we can find them. And 3 years later, we've built a platform reaching more than 300,000 women across 3 continents. And there are a lot of young African women who are looking for support to reach their dreams. Finance is always a major issue, and that's something we hear time and time again for the entrepreneurs that we work with. First of it is education and understanding how corporate money works. And if I want to get money from a bank or I want to get money from an investor, what does that mean? What am I giving up? Is this person or this bank going to be able to take away my business whenever it exists? Secondly, it can be very intimidating, the requirements, the paperwork. I mean, let's be honest. Even to open a regular bank account, you have to have a reference letter. You have to have all these things.
Talk us of putting like structures in place that would be attractive to a bank like First Bank. But the thing is, Bimpe, what I want you to address is women, we're trying to create a more inclusive environment for women, because there was a time when if a woman wanted to get a loan from a bank, they would expect her to bring collateral from her husband or her father because they weren't likely to own any assets that the bank could use. And then there was the issue of, because their businesses are so small scale, they're not able to afford the interest payments on these loans. So my question is, does First Bank's FirstGem deal with some of these issues? So is it just, where women empowerment and products that are helping women, and then there's all the hoo-ha about it? Because there have been plenty of products around before FirstGem launched, and there are questions as to how impactful they've been. So do you have loans that don't require collateral or lower the interest for women?
Yeah, thank you, Arese. Like I usually say, FirstGem is actually not just a product. It's a platform that truly empowers women, okay? A platform that empowers women in the sense that it's a product that the bank launched to address specific gaps that we have identified in the way women run their business, the level of education in terms of business acumen, information to move their business to the next level, what the bank expects from you as a prospective borrower, and all of that. Like you rightly said in your introduction, the way women and men think about money, it's very different. And you see women running businesses over the years, not that they are not good, they're very good, but they acquire funds, their profit, and not returned into the business. So they spend for the entire family. They run their business to spend for the family. So where a man would
take some of that profit and buy assets that can grow the business, or they can use as loans.
And grow the business. And if women tend to use their own for their children, you have to have a plan for expansion based on the opportunity in the market. And if you want to expand, you need funds, you need credit. And the bank that is going to give you credit needs to be comfortable that you have a skin in the game. Your equity. So your collateral can come as collateral to give the bank comfort that yes, you're going to refund the money. And you should be able to talk about the business from how you started and where you are today. This is not just about talking about it. The bank should be able to see it in the trend, your cash flow.
So are you doing any business advisory that helps women understand these things and helps them go through these processes so that they're able to access the loans?
Exactly. This is why I said FirstGem is a bundle of solution. As a FirstGem member, we call our customers FirstGem member because we're building a platform where a community of women, where women can talk to one another, where women can talk to the bank, where women can talk to specialists within the system. So we also organize from time to time conferences, trainings, and events. And there are a lot of other funds aside from funds from the commercial banks that women can actually access, but through the commercial bank. So we went into this strategic partnership just to be able to empower women, because we do know that lending from the commercial banks can be high, not because they are Shylocks, but the cost of doing business in Nigeria generally.
That's quite interesting. I feel like empowerment, though, has become quite the buzzword. Everywhere you look, women are having conferences targeted at other women to help them in business. On social media, you're constantly seeing workshops, conferences, all these things. So when you have a bank like First Bank who's trying to create a community like that, again, I really want to know, does First Bank, not just like the government intervention funds or BOI, does First Bank have loans that are targeted at women that are uncollateralized, so they don't need any land or property to put down before they get the loan? Or do they have reduced interest rates? So right now, interest rates are like 20-something%. Do you have something that is, a discount since it's targeted at women?
Yeah, basically the fundamental rules for lending is actually not lending against collateral. The cash flow is the most important thing. Collateral is just a by the way. So yes, we do have a lot of products that we lend against the business cash flow. For example, in the education sector, we have disbursed a lot of a lot of money going into the region of 50-something billion to women proprietors who run their own school. And basically, we don't require any tangible collateral. The loans are granted against the school fees. For up to 10 million as working capital, but for as much as 100 million if you're going to be involved into school extension, building of annex.
So can you give us a bit of an idea? Because I'm sure that you're interested in this. If I was going to access a 10 million naira loan from through FirstGem, and I didn't need collateral, so I only need cash flow, what kind of cash flow do I need? So what level of cash flow do I need to be able to show in my business to access that loan, or to be appropriate to access that loan?
Yeah, the cash flow is actually a function of the amount that you're asking for. If you're looking at 10 million, I should be able to see in your account that you have a minimum of 1.5 times of that sum, which shows that this business is viable.
Yeah. That sounds good. If you do business with a lot of women, you're constantly training a lot of women. So what are the pain points that you think that FirstGem should be addressing in solving those problems?
I think one of the points that she made, which is really important, is around cash flow, right? You have to have data, you have to have information. So you have to be thinking and planning ahead. So one area which we need to support entrepreneurs in is thinking and planning and structuring their business so that they're going organized and the bank can see the data and the information. I think a second area which I hear a lot of feedback on is just not knowing where to go to for information. If I walk into my branch, am I to ask them, do I need to have a special relationship manager? Like, who is the person that actually is making the decisions and how do I get to them? Because do I need to have special access? Do I need to have VIP?
But
it can be challenging.
Yeah, do you think that is more about, I totally agree with Afua. I think that women are not very financially literate, so they don't have their books, their P&Ls, their balance sheets, so they're not prepared. But I think there's also an issue of, the bank creating awareness, or maybe women not asking enough questions. What do you think it is?
Yeah, like you said, I think it's a function of what people seek to know, because I believe that the information is actually out there. But you're right, the bank need to do more in terms of pushing awareness. This out, because first, it's information. Most people don't know about the intervention fund. Most people don't know that they can access loan from First Bank based on the cash flow of their business. Most people don't know that they need to record their business transactions. That's the basic bookkeeping. And these are the gaps that we identified. And from time to time, just last month, we had a bookkeeping session with a cluster of women in different line of businesses that we take them on. We're also planning on a women conference, sometimes this year. Yeah. So it's actually for you to see these things as an enabler and make sure you're part of it.
So hear that, guys. Ask questions, because we have this Nigerian behavior of, it's a lie, they're not giving loans, they'll just be talking, but clearly, you're giving out loans. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the impacts, because I'm so big on that. Like I said before, banks before you have created all these women-focused products, but the impact that they've had is quite questionable. So I would believe that First Bank had the space and time to think about, what did all these people do wrong? Where are the gaps, in their own products, and how can we do it better to service our clients? So can you tell us a little bit about what kind of impact FirstGem has had since it's been, in play? Examples of women that has helped kind of businesses.
Like I said, FirstGem, it's not just a product. It's actually a purposeful driven solution, riding on the gaps that we have identified. So the product brings in solution. We talked about women not being able to move their business to the next level, women not investing back into their business, women not growing their business such that they are bankable or credit worthy for banks to give them money. So to address that, the FirstGem also have what we call the personalized savings target that a lot of women today have really signed on. We have women contributing daily, weekly, monthly, and they don't have access. They don't want to have access to this money.
If I'm right, the idea of this targeted savings is so that you can prove to the bank that, you have a track record of being able to meet your goals, and that
that's
savings
one,
can act
then
as...
it forces you, because it's an automatic solution that you design your savings scheme yourself, and automatically the system do a pull to help you save without recourse to you, except you want to intentionally or deliberately stop it. So this is also to help them, like we said, we want them to invest in their business. We want them to move to the next level. So you save over a period of time, and you can either ask to reinvest such that you have your personalized investment portfolio, and which can serve as collateral for your business, for credits in the future. You can either take the money at the end of the day to invest in real estate. We're also working with a lot of stakeholders to encourage women to invest. More than one woman can invest in a unit in a housing unit. Something like REITs, this further helps you to solidify your portfolio.
Okay, so you're creating like collective funds that
like
women
a mutual investment platform, which will be registered, and they will own it. So with this, they are really we see that women are actually growing, not just in the saying, but in the real sense of it. And a lot of women already signed on to this. We've engaged different women in clusters, different categories, age of women, because FirstGem is an all-generation women product. It cuts across
Looks like she has to keep saying that it's not just a product, it's about, community,
because
being purpose-driven.
Being a FirstGem member, you have access to free advisory services, which we've been doing a lot of it today. You have access to single-digit loan from the intervention fund. You have access to commercial loan from First Bank against your cash flow, depending on the risk
discounted
profile.
interest.
Yes, one thing, maybe in our next session, we would have to discuss pricing, bank pricing.
Okay.
When people hear double digits, they just look at,
scared.
if I take 10 million, 30% of 10 million is going to go. But that's not the case. It's a function of the nature of the business you're borrowing for. Because banks pricing is per annum. So in the real sense, if I lend you 5 million naira, for example, a worst case scenario, 30%, I'm not saying we charge 30%, 30% per annum. But if the business you're borrowing for, the school, for example, their cash flow pattern is quarterly, termly, and you take a 10 million, at the end of the day, what you'll be paying back to the bank is less than 120,000 naira, because it's per annum, because you pay back at the end of the term when you receive inflows. So people need to understand that what will be the cost of this borrowing against my projected revenue that I'm expecting on the business, because
that sounds
cost of running
fantastic.
business.
Are you sold? Do you feel like this FirstGem product can help a lot of your community?
Yeah, I'm excited to see it go into action, but I would love to see a tool that allows you to just have clarity and transparency. And I imagine so many people don't know how to calculate what their payments might be. They don't really understand how the interest loans can vary depending on your business. So how can we get the knowledge and the information that First Bank, employees and bankers have, and get that out to people so that they are more empowered and knowledgeable themselves to be able to make better business decisions?
Yeah, today really we have interest rate calculation on our calculator on our website. You can actually go in there, punch in the amount you think you want to borrow, put the interest rates, maybe based on your engagement with the relationship manager, and it gives you what the cost of that fund would be. I would also like to address what you said about people not being able to open accounts because of the account opening requirements.
Yeah.
I think it's important for women to know there are different types of accounts. Today in the bank, we have an account type that all you need is just your passport photograph.
Wow.
Nothing more.
No KYC?
No KYC, just your passport photograph. We have such accounts. And if you want to run a normal generic savings account, all you need is just utility bill, and that's it, no reference. But when you're running a current account, because current account allows third-party transaction, it's important. It's also to safeguard the customer, because you're going to be seeing people putting money into your account. So it's important to know who you are and
I love this conversation, guys. Because one of the reasons that we started the bridge was to break down the financial jargon and get, millennials to understand what financial products are available to them, especially in Nigeria. So thank you so much for this conversation. It's very insightful.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for watching another amazing episode of The Bridge. And a huge thank you to my guest, Adebimpe Ihejuna from First Bank.
Thank you, Arese. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. And Afua Osei, one of the co-founders of She Leads Africa.
Thank you so much. It was fantastic.
Thank you. Let's continue the conversation on social media, guys. My handle is @SmartMoneyArese, and you can also follow the Business Day page @BusinessDayNG. I look forward to hearing your experiences with female-focused financial products. See you next time.